name is Evan.
I'm Micah.
And I'm Jonathan.
And welcome to Season 2 of the Tackling Basketball Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Yeah.
Have some pretty fun changes, we think, for the podcast. Hopefully we'll make it a little bit better, make it a bit more competitive in certain areas, a bit more consistency across the podcast as a whole, because up to this point it's been a bit of a cluster, if we're perfectly honest, which is fine. We were testing things out in Season 1. Season 2 is here, new and improved. First change we have is we have rebranded our Goats and Dick and Goat and Wawa for 1 week segment into Toast and Roast. Pretty self-explanatory. Toast, who we're raising our glasses to, who we're toasting that week. Roast, or the Dick segment, is a bit more personal now. It's we're going at people rather than just saying, oh, this person should be concerned. It's this person sucks and we hate them. So that will be a little bit more fun. And with that, we'll get right into it. And so, Micah, who are you raising your glass to this week?
I'm raising my glass this week to Coco Gauff, winning her first major title last weekend at the U.S. Open. At just 19, she's the youngest American female to win the U.S. Open since Serena Williams. It's just really exciting to see how well she played, especially coming back down, losing the first set to then winning the second and third set. It was a really exciting match. She looks like she's going to have a great career ahead of her, so it's really exciting to see this first win and just see how much more she has in store.
Yeah, cheers. My toast of the week is the Colorado Buffaloes, and it's kind of a hard team not to toast right now, coming off of a horrible 3-win season and many other horrible seasons leading into it. And now they start off their season by defeating a defending title contender in TCU as 21-point road underdogs. So just a huge surprise to everybody. And then come into week 2, have as 3-point favorites against a mediocre Nebraska team. But they did exactly what they needed to prove to everybody that they belong amongst like the big dogs in this by just absolutely destroying Nebraska. And I mean, it's just a fun team to watch right now. A deadly secondary with one of the best corner prospects that we've seen in a long time. A surprisingly potent offense behind Shadir Sanders, and that same cornerback playing like every single snap of the game out of corner and wide receiver. So just a really exciting team. So
yeah, it's a good one. It's also crazy how now that I have Hulu Live TV, I see Deion Sanders on every single frickin' commercial that pops up on my television. The Prime effect is real. For my toast of the week, I mean, come on, I'm a Packers fan. It has to be Jordan Love, the guy who all offseason everybody, you were either on the train of saying, he's going to be decent, which is what I was thinking was, he's going to be okay, he'll be serviceable, or you thought he was going to be horrible, and he looked pretty dang good against the Bears, and I know it's the Bears, but still, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Completion percentage could have been a little bit better, but overall, did fantastic, was mobile, came out and took over ownership of the Bears. Love to see it. So, way to go, Jordan Love. Packers fans, I think as a whole now have a lot of hopes for this season. Team as a whole looked great, but seeing Jordan succeed makes me pretty dang happy. So, cheers to Jordan.
Yeah. My roast of the week is Team USA for FIBA. Not only should they have won the whole thing, they didn't even medal. They got 4th, losing to Canada, who didn't even have Jamal Murray.
Yep.
Like, obviously they still got Shy Guy, and he played ridiculous the entire tournament. But it's just, I don't understand why great players don't want to play in FIBA. I understand, like, you're focusing on the NBA. It's the most important thing. It's during your summer. But when your best player is probably Mikal Bridges on that team. Probably Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
And then Brandon Ingram didn't show up at all. Like, Austin Reeves was one of the best players. Like, it's just sad. Hopefully for the Olympics, LeBron recruits the dream team that he wants, and we get some good, solid people, but this was embarrassing.
If LeBron's going to play in Paris, everyone else is going to play. So,
and it'll be one Olympics that we get a really exciting USA team for, and then they'll take the next cycle off because that's how it works. But yeah, for my roast of the week, should be a little obvious. Roger Goodell.
More like Roger Badell.
Oh! They roast over.
Micah wins.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the Aaron Rodgers injury this last week, he's going to get a lot more questions about why there exists any more turf stadiums at all. Like, we finally got rid of the last baseball-football hybrid when Oakland moved to Las Vegas, and yet we're still playing on fields that are incredibly dangerous. Turf fields all around the league. You have the Hall of Fame game every year in Canton, which is also just a horrible display to begin with. It's just bad football, but in large part because no good player should play on that field. The Cardinals field is horrible. It's just, there need to be better standards set, or we're going to start losing even more stars than Aaron Rodgers, and that's like your entire product. So, easy roast.
Yeah.
Bad L.
Some of y'all really thought the Bears were going to be good, didn't you? They traded for DJ Moore. They spent a lot of money to upgrade their defense. You bought into Justin Fields, but you forgot one important thing. The Bears stink. They are a poverty franchise. There are no more excuses for Justin Fields. He has all the receivers he could ever hope to need. His receiving core is better than Jordan Love's is in Green Bay by a mile, and DJ Moore got 2 targets. The Bears are just awful, and it makes me so happy to see that on his way out of town, Aaron Rodgers took out the title and signed it over to Jordan Love because he is the new owner of the Chicago Bears. The Bears continue to suck. They will always suck. Everything they do stinks. Screw the Bears.
Wow, you're right. That roast was a lot more passionate.
Yeah.
That was great.
With that, we'll shift over to power rankings now. I'll get off my soapbox here and hop on a different one for NFL power rankings. And boys, I mean, I know it's only week 1. It's hard to do power rankings after 1 week because I feel like I was saying earlier, the top 5 or 6 I feel like should be there. The bottom 5 or 6 I feel like should be there. Everybody else in the middle, it's just such a cluster. But what were kind of your biggest surprises from this weekend, and who are you shocked with where they fell in your power rankings?
I mean, I think 2 of the biggest surprises for me were obviously the Chiefs and the Bills both coming out on bottom of their games. Ironically, while it did knock them down in the rankings for me, neither team got knocked past the team that beat them. In large part because one of those teams was the Lions, and the other team just lost their star quarterback for the entire season. I had the Jets conditionally at second before this morning's news that Aaron Rodgers was out for season, and that's going to be very difficult to overcome for them. But then, just the Chiefs. Kadarius Toney was a honorable roast for this week, just dropping 3 easy catches. One of them for an interception, pick 6, I think.
Yeah.
And then the other one could have easily turned into a touchdown or at least a huge gain. Basically just trying his best to lose the game for his team. So I think that the Chiefs will turn around a lot and probably rise immediately on this list as soon as Travis Kelce is healthy. But for now, I have a couple of really good teams sort of fallen in the rankings that I wouldn't have expected.
Yeah, I had that same confusion. Both of those teams I had lower than I was expecting them to be. On the opposite side, I have the Browns at number 3. Again, this is a very, very early 1 week has happened, but they looked real good against the Bengals last week.
Yeah.
A lot better than I was expecting them to look. So they'll be an interesting team to watch in these next couple weeks to see if they stay up that high. but also Bengals are a lot lower than I thought they would have been after that loss.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they just couldn't get anything going. Joe Burrow wasn't looking that good, and it was just a weird week, or a weird game. But another surprise on a team being pretty low on this power rankings. I have the Dolphins at number 2. Purely just because of their defense. I'm still ecstatic after last week's game. But they had one good defensive. What's that called when a team has the ball for a certain amount of time?
Possession.
They had. We'll cut that.
Is this the trivia portion?
Does Micah know general football lexicon?
No.
I know my trivia next week.
What is a safety?
Sick. I'm finally gonna get a dub.
They had one good defensive possession, and it was the very last one. Was the only time they could actually stop the Chargers. But if they get their defense together, and even then, it's against one of the best offensive teams in the league. But Tua was absurd, throwing 466 yards, leading the league that week. The second closest was Kirk Cousins at 344. Tua beat everyone by over 100 yards, which is absurd. But even then, still had a few fumbles, had an interception. So if we can just clean some things up, get the defense put together, I think Dolphins can be a damn good team.
For sure. I was kind of surprised that I had them all the way up at 4, honestly.
Yeah.
Probably because I was expecting the Chiefs and the Bills to win, which I think would have pushed the Dolphins out of there for me, but I had them at 4 because they kicked ass. I'll kind of go to the opposite end. You guys talked about the higher echelon. I'm shocked that I'm putting the Giants at 32. I mean, there's an argument to be made that maybe you shouldn't put them there because there are teams that are worse than them, but they didn't score a point. They're the only team in the NFL right now who has no points for the season.
Yeah.
And I get it's the Cowboys, but this is the NFL. Shutouts don't happen all that often. I mean, it was just brutal. Daniel Jones, first off, Daniel Jones didn't look great, but also Daniel Jones had a second in the pocket every single time before he had 3 guys in his face trying to murder him. Giants receiving core obviously sucks. I mean, it was just brutal game. Steelers down there for me. I mean, they looked horrible against the 49ers. Kenny Pickett looked god-awful. Which sucks because I just traded for him in Dynasty. But he looked god-awful. I mean, the Steelers looked unprepared, honestly, which is weird to say about a Mike Tomlin team, but that was the reality of the situation. But then you have teams like Texans, Panthers, Cardinals, who everybody expects to be down there. One team that did definitely surprise me, though, and it's not that they're high, but the Colts for me at 23. Anthony Richardson with the best rookie quarterback performance of the weekend by a mile. Bryce Young had 2 interceptions. CJ Stroud was a non-factor almost in the game against the Ravens.
Not a lot of attempts for Stroud.
Yeah, he just
was weird.
Didn't do a whole lot. Anthony Richardson, though, 2 touchdown passes, a rushing touchdown. He did throw a bad interception, but this is also he's a rookie quarterback. It's going to happen. He looked really good, honestly, against the Jaguars. So Anthony Richardson could be proving some people wrong here, but Colts up at 23 definitely surprised me. That I expected them to have them down below 26 somewhere. That though, there's not a ton to say. Again, this is after week 1, so not a ton to dive into, but we'll now hop into our new matchups of the week segment. This is going to be a recurring segment for us. Doesn't necessarily have to be a game, though I think all of us picked a game this week. It could also be a corner versus wide receiver matchup, O-line versus a defensive line matchup, quarterback versus quarterback, what have you. This week we just all happened to pick teams. So we will start out with Micah. Who's your matchup of the week?
My matchup of the week is going to be the Bengals versus the Baltimore Ravens. Bengals coming off of a tough loss where, like I said, just did not perform very well. On the opposite end, Ravens playing really, really well, but losing their running back Dobbins. So it'll be interesting to see how they come back from that and how they change up their offense. And we'll see if Joe Burrow can get his shit together and actually play a good game.
Remember that he's supposed to be an elite quarterback.
Right. So I still think even in this game, I think the Ravens are the underdog. So I think this will be a really fun game to watch, just to see if both teams, Baltimore can keep up what they were doing, and Bengals see if they can fix it like I think they should.
Yeah.
But
it's a good one.
Yeah, I think it is a super interesting one. It was my next favorite matchup as well. Just Joe Burrow often starts the season pretty slowly. And then Lamar Jackson didn't have a super impressive week either. I mean, the Ravens were able to escape with a victory, but both teams are looking to prove themselves this week that they were more than the performance that they had like 2 days ago. So it'll be an interesting one, and division rivalry, of course. For mine, though, I'm going with the New York Jets at the Dallas Cowboys. And more specifically, I'm really interested in the Cowboys offense, which proved to be incredibly potent, like a lot of people sort of suspected, versus the Jets defense, which held Josh Allen and the Bills in such good control last game. So I don't think that the Jets have a lot of hope in winning this one, just because Dallas is really strong on both sides of the ball, and the Jets just lost their starting quarterback for the season. But I do think that this will say a lot about those two sides of the ball for both of these teams, and that it'll just be a lot of fun to sort of watch just CeeDee Lamb go up against Sauce Gardner and all these awesome matchups. So
yeah, because even if the Jets don't win this, even if they show up and play well, it'll be really encouraging to see. Because I mean, that was an amazing win last night against the Bills. So if they can keep playing even decently well, that'll be really encouraging for the Jets.
If they have mediocre offense and manage to win a couple of games, we might even see them trade for a quarterback or something.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, honestly, I know he made a couple mistakes. He threw an interception, but there were moments where Zach Wilson actually looked pretty solid last night for the Jets. And so I think part of it was he came in obviously the Jets had completely game planned for Aaron Rodgers being their quarterback, and all of a sudden Nathaniel Hackett had to go. Crap, I'm stuck with Zach Wilson. So hopefully going into next week, of course, they'll game plan more around Zach Wilson's strengths. Hopefully Robert Saleh goes up to every single O-lineman and smacks him across the face and tells him, you're supposed to stop the defense from getting to the quarterback. Because that would also help Zach Wilson out if he had more than a second to be able to throw a pass.
Yeah.
For my matchup, I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs against the Jacksonville Jaguars down there in Jacksonville, the soon-to-be London-based football team. This one's interesting to me because I think the Chiefs, coming off of their loss to the Lions, don't necessarily have something to prove, but definitely need to show that they can figure some stuff out and that Travis Kelce isn't their entire offense, because their receiving core looked brutal against the Lions. I think Andy Reid will be able to figure it out because it's Andy Reid. I think the solution is just bench Kadarius Toney, but we'll see what they do. Sure, Patrick Mahomes will bounce back. Another big factor for them, though, is that they still don't have Chris Jones on defense, who is by far and away their best defensive player. He's holding out right now, which is a whole different conversation. But having him gone on defense is brutal for the Chiefs, honestly. And Jaguars looked fantastic against the Colts. Trevor Lawrence is showing that he is a fantastic quarterback. He is going to be a fantastic quarterback for years to come. So I think this is going to be possibly a very high-scoring matchup because neither defense is really all that fantastic, honestly. So I think this could be a real shootout and be a very, very fun game to watch. Trevor Lawrence versus Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I think so. I do think that the Chiefs have a huge edge here as long as, they probably want Kelce back just so they have a reliable target, but that seems likely at this point. And if that happens, I expect them to come out with fury and probably take a really solid hold on this game. But it'll be fun to watch both sides of the ball. A couple of strong offenses kind of going at it.
Yeah, Calvin Ridley looked fantastic, and then Travis Etienne looked amazing as well. So Jaguars have definitely also got some offensive firepower. Shifting over to the NBA, though, just some quick NBA thing to chat through here is the NBA's new resting rules, which we will have Micah kind of give us the context for, since he knows this better than us. When he mentioned it to us today, I didn't know what he was talking about. So, Micah, go for it.
Yeah, so yesterday the NBA released a memo against teams resting, trying to limit it and stop it because it's really bad for the product. Last year, I think they made a really good stride against it when they required all stars to play at least 65 games to be eligible for most awards. I don't think all NBA, but at least as far as awards go.
I think all NBA, but that's a new rule for this year, yeah.
Okay. Which is great. But this new rule is also going to be doing preventing teams from resting more than one star in the same game, and a star being defined as any player who has been an all-star or been on an all-NBA team in the last 3 years, which I think is going to be great. I don't know how they're really going to enforce it and prove that players are resting rather than being really hurt. But yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I don't know if it'll be super effective because while teams have sort of gotten lazy with their injury report and have been saying that they are out due to rest recently, it's not that hard to just make up, their ankle kind of hurts. And, I mean, I'm not sure that we should invalidate legitimate reasons, like legitimate injury reasons for rest, because we want our stars to get healthy so that the product of the NBA is improved. But because that is a priority, it'll be really difficult to be able to enforce this unless the league starts tracking emails sent back and forth between trainers and stuff. I don't know. I also think that the 2 stars thing, which we'll get to the rest of this soon, I'm sure, but it's not fully sufficient. Not a lot of teams even have 2 stars that fit this description. Like the Nuggets don't have 2 stars technically, which is kind of crazy.
It feels like this is just something that NBA fans have been complaining about for a long time, so Adam Silver wanted to create a rule that quote unquote does something about it, even though I'm not fully sure it will. I think it's just Adam Silver trying to be what he does often as NBA commissioner, which is keep fans happy, make it appear at least like they're trying to keep the game interesting and correct when...
Yeah. I do have a question for both of you, though. Assuming, let's say this is a perfect world, and we are actually able to define what players are resting and actually hurt. Under this rule of 2 stars cannot rest at the same time, how many games will Kawhi Leonard and Paul George play together? Out of 82 games, how many are they actually going to be on the court at the same time?
So you're asking how often are they legitimately injured?
Yeah, and also, are the Clippers just going to be like, all right, you're off this game, you're off the next game. You guys are just going to take turns so we can split it up.
They play 0 together.
They each play 41 games.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Legitimately, I'd probably say in the 20s.
Yeah.
Just because I'm banking on one of them being hurt for a substantial portion of the season, and also at some point Paul George probably just going, my toe hurts. I need to sit for a game.
Yeah, I could see a quarter to a half of the season. So
again, the stat from earlier, Taylor Swift's Eras Tour has had more concerts than Paul George and Kawhi Leonard have ever played together on the Clippers. That is nuts.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Look. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that gets implemented and if it has any positive impact.
Yeah. I do think the better rule was already implemented because,
for sure,
teams are going to lie. And so, in order to motivate players to actually play more games, to pursue better contracts, because those season-end awards matter for contracts, to set a game limit on that is huge. So, I think that does a lot more good than finding teams for resting. But we'll see.
Totally agree. But at the end of the day, it's not going to hurt it. So
Yeah.
good for you, Adam.
I mean, the one thing that I think it does hurt is they are limiting the number of games that you can rest specifically on the road as well. And, I mean, it varies because Micah brought up a really good point earlier of, like, if you're a Hornets fan, you go to games for the visiting players, which is totally fair. Like, people want to see LeBron play when they're a Hornets fan. They don't give a shit about the Hornets.
But Lonzo.
I can do you one.
But, like,
Or LaMelo.
Pistons fans.
Pistons fans, yeah. But, like, fans of good teams do want to see good players and do want to see wins. So it's going to suck that this almost sort of incentivizes resting players at home. But,
Yeah. It's a fair point.
See how it shakes out.
yeah.
All right, over to our trivia segment, which is, again, going to become a regular thing. This is also going to be something that we keep track of throughout the course of this new season. So we'll keep track of how many wins each person gets for trivia.
So am I at 0 points now?
Yeah, you're back to 0. Sorry, buddy. You won the trial run. Congratulations.
I won season 1.
Yeah, you won season 1. But now we're all back
Hey,
to
I got
0.
1 point. Hey, we're just resetting because of you, Evan.
I need help. But for this segment, we have here top scoring performances in the NBA. So these are the top 20 with one caveat. It's top 20 with Wilt Chamberlain only showing up once. Otherwise, I did the math. Otherwise, 17 of these would be Wilt Chamberlain, and that wouldn't be fun for anyone. So
You even got the logos for the correct year.
yes,
That's cool.
I did.
That's cool.
So we have the point. So you get the total points, the year, and if you see to the right of the logo, I have given you scores for each one. So the obvious ones
So I'm not
are worth
incentivized.
less
Yeah.
than difficult ones.
Yeah.
And you'll see there the number 5 one is from 1949. If either of you get that, I will be absolutely freaking shocked, which
What?
is why it's worth 5 points.
What team is that?
That is also the Warriors one that you see in the top left corner. It's just a little
Okay.
smusher because the aspect ratio of this is a little
yeah.
tough.
Yeah.
I will flip a coin here to see who gets to serve. Hey Siri,
49.
Flip a coin.
God damn, that one's going to be hard.
she did not flip a coin. Hey Siri, flip a coin.
You promise there's only one
Tails.
Wilt?
Jonathan, do you want to serve or go second?
Does serve mean go first?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd do that.
Okay. So you get to go first. So you have to say, give me the year, the team, and guess the player.
Okay. Okay. 78 Nuggets is David Thompson.
That is correct.
You could have saved that one.
I could have. It was worth +3. I wanted to get it out early.
That's why I gave it +3 though, because I just read David Thompson on the thing and I was like,
Who?
yeah.
I can't help myself. 2023 Blazers. Dame Dollar.
all right, 3-1, Jonathan.
God damn. Yeah, every time that I remember one, I'm like, oh, it's 1 point.
At some point, you may just have to accept that you got to start going for the ones.
I don't want it to happen yet, though. Yeah, I feel like this is wrong. But I want to say the 94 Spurs is David Robinson.
It is David Robinson.
Let's go.
Nice. Is the 1990 Jazz Karl Malone?
Ooh,
It is Karl Malone.
nice. Man, I feel like I should know who the Heat one was. There's 2 really good guesses.
Yeah.
And that's why I can't do it, because then Micah gets it.
That's
if
why I
I'm
made
wrong.
it 2 points too instead of 1. So.
Because the moment one person gets it wrong, the other person gets it right.
Right.
Was 04 Magic Shaq?
That is not Shaquille O'Neal.
Ooh, I was gonna guess that.
Damn.
That's why I made it 2 points.
Thanks, Jonathan.
You're welcome, Micah.
I don't know. That feels too early. Is 74 Warriors Kareem Abdul-Jabbar?
It is not.
Yeah. It's +5. Like, every time that it's my turn, I like
Right.
go back to it. I'm like, I gotta figure this out. But also, like, I think the oldest player that I know is Wilt. And if you're promising that he's only on here once, then that can't be him.
Will just played for 20 years.
He played a long time, but not that long. I'll go ahead and take 62 Wilt, just so that Micah can't.
Yep.
Oh.
Should have made that one like worth half a point.
I'll do 23 Cavs as Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's go 06 Lakers as Kobe.
Yep. Duh.
17 Suns
Yep.
as Devin Booker.
Yeah. Let's see, what's the next most recent one? Oh, damn it. Oh, wait, that one. Shit. Why do I feel like that could be a trick question?
Which one?
21 Warriors.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Because, like, I know that Clay had the highest scoring quarter for Warriors. I don't know if he turned it into a full game. But if that were true, it would definitely be a 2-pointer. Let's go 21 Warriors as Steph.
Yeah. 90 Bulls as Jordan.
Yep. Gonna have to start digging into the bag a little bit here.
I know.
Yeah. Figured hopefully he can get enough of these wrong that I can get get as many.
That's
easy
why I
points
started
as
targeting
can.
ones, because I knew that, like, if I kept fucking up, you would take over.
Yeah.
I'm really curious about the 2014 Heat and the 2000 Lakers one to see who can nail those ones down.
Yeah.
And Magic.
I really want to Google.
Well, you
Like,
can't.
was this person on this team then? But, like, I can't.
Might as well just give up on the +5. I put that on there for shits and giggles.
Yeah. I'll go for it. 2014 Heat. Is that Dwayne Wade?
It's not Dwayne Wade.
Fuck.
It's 2014 Heat LeBron.
Yes, it is.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
And he ties it up.
Tie game with all the easy ones except for one.
Is 77 Jazz Detlef Schrempf?
77 Jazz
Yeah.
is not Detlef Schrempf.
14 Knicks is Carmelo.
Yes. 3 to the dome, baby. Except that was 1 to the dome.
2000 Lakers is Kobe Bryant.
No, it is not.
2000 Lakers is Shaq.
Yep.
Really? Goddamn.
Keep it up. This is working well.
That was actually 2.
These are all old people now.
The Magic name you've definitely, like, as soon as you hear it.
04 Magic is Kevin Garnett.
No.
Feels like it might be too early, but is 04 Magic Dwight Howard?
No.
Okay. I don't know. Oh, could it be?
We can go until both of you guys just decide to throw in the towel.
I mean, I'm good to if you were.
No. I mean, I've mostly been doing that these last couple of guesses, but no.
Can also put like an elimination total on it. We could set it at 5.
I'm at the point where it's like every one of these guesses, it's going to be like wrong team or wrong era.
Yeah. It's going to get to a point where I don't even know if the people I'm guessing played on that team ever.
Right.
So, just go for it.
77 Jazz is Malone.
No. Four strikes.
Is 04 Magic Mutombo?
No.
62 Lakers, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Nope.
All right, 04 Magic Vince Carter?
No.
Damn.
All right. Well, Micah will take the first win of the season.
Let's go!
11-8. All right, we'll go through here. 1960 Lakers.
If I had gotten LeBron, it was a 50-50, and that would have been the win.
Damn. 1960 Lakers with 71 points. Elgin Baylor.
Okay.
I should have known that one.
1974 Warriors with 64 points. Rick Barry.
That was never going to happen.
1977 Jazz with 68 points. Pete the Pistol Maravich.
Yeah.
We'll save the 5-pointer for last just because it's fun. 1962 Lakers with 63 points. Jerry West.
Okay.
78 Spurs with 63 points. George Gervin.
Okay.
04 Magic, you idiots. Tracy McGrady.
Oh, duh. Oh, I'm an idiot.
1949 with 63 points. So old he doesn't even have a Stat Muse animated person. Joe Folks.
Who?
It's Joel, folks.
But there we go.
Yeah. Good game.
Man, that Tracy McGrady's going to haunt me.
Yeah, that's why I said you guys are gonna feel dumb. Like
Yeah.
The tough part is those that like there are a lot of guys right there. I mean, like Penny Hardaway is also like probably in your mind, like so.
Yeah.
And the fact that during that era the Magic never won a championship.
Right.
All right, well, good. First trivia of the season, boys.
Yeah. Good stuff. I like that.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Sweet. Hop over to our betting segment. This is another segment that we are kind of rebranding here. Rather than doing our standard 100 units and 10,000 units bets, which were fun. Realistically, though, a lot of the bets we were making, especially for 10,000 units, we had zero expectations of ever paying out.
Yeah.
Never going to happen. And initially, when Jonathan and I started this up, we had planned on tracking bets to see who was "quote unquote" a better sports gambler, and we didn't, mainly because we fell into summer and the betting became just so boring and stale because no good sports were going on that we
We started putting a tenth of a unit on cricket.
Yeah, he bet on cricket, I bet on darts. It was a dark time for us. So, but now we're committed. We're going to be tracking it. We are rebranding it to Sportsbook Showdown. The goal is going to be that each week we're going to have at least one bet that is going to pay out that week. Likely we'll be doing podcasts on either Monday or Tuesday night, so we'll just plan on having it pan out by like the end of the football week, essentially. So by end of day Monday to cash out. We can do another one of those, and then we can also do a futures bet as well that has to pan out at the moment by the end of the NFL season. Once NBA starts up, if we do an NBA bet, it has to pay out by the end of the NBA season. So we'll keep track of those. Only rule for us is that our bets have to total up to 5 units for each week. Outside of that, you can spread that out however you want. If you want to be the dick that does 10 half unit bets, I suppose you could do that. I think that person might just get a bit of a beating after the podcast is over, as the other two people just sit here and listen to this person rattle off their bets. But with that, we will jump into it. Jonathan, you are first up with...
Yeah, so my first bet of the week, I'm going with the game of the week for myself, which is Jets-Cowboys. And like I said, it'll be an interesting show of a really talented defense versus a really potent offense. And I think that the defenses will win out in this one. So I'm going under 39.5. That's minus 110 odds, and I'm getting 2 out of my 5 units on that bet. Next up, are we doing all in the same order?
Next up is Micah.
Cool.
Oh, okay. My first bet of this week is all money line, having the Chargers, the Dolphins, and the Ravens all win. That's 2 units at plus 567 odds.
Love it. For mine, I also am doing my game of the week.
2.5.
Picking up Jacksonville Jaguars money line over the Kansas City Chiefs. I really like the Jaguars at plus odds for this week. I think they'll be able to take it over the Chiefs in Jacksonville. So, betting big here on the Jaguars.
I hate it. But yeah, for my next bet, I'm going Packers and Dolphins, both at the money line. Both teams favored right now. Both teams playing, in my opinion, pretty weak opponents. The only reason that it's like somewhat good odds is because they're on the road. But I believe in both of these teams to pull out the wins and give me a nice 5-point payout or something like that. So, yeah.
Also taking Jags money line like Evan is, but throwing it into a parlay with the Buccaneers also winning and the Raiders plus 8.5. Putting 1 unit on that with plus 654 odds.
Man, can't believe you guys are going to lose all your money like this.
Oh, I'm winning both of them.
I'm doing it more because I'm putting the Jaguars in this money line parlay as well with the Chargers, the Niners, the Dolphins, and the Browns. Plus 1,377, putting a unit and a half down on that. Feel pretty good about this one. I like all these teams going into the weekend.
Yeah, I like that bet.
Yeah. For my final bet of the week, I'm going with a bit of a futures one. Zay Flowers had a really impressive showing in week 1. I think enough to earn the trust of Lamar Jackson. And as Lamar sort of starts to improve throughout this season and the Ravens sort of face like a lot of sort of easier teams, defensively, I think that Zay Flowers will have a great shot at sort of jumping out with, in my mind, Bijan Robinson is the one to beat. I don't know if any of the quarterbacks will find enough success this year to outclass either of them. So just a unit on this, but we'll see if it can pay out big.
All right, my futures bet coming off of Tua just destroying the rest of the league in passing yards. I have him at the end of the season being the passing yard leader. He's at plus 600 odds right now, so I put 2 units on that.
Y'all are going to love this. I'm putting a unit on the Green Bay Packers to be the last remaining undefeated team in the NFL. The Packers' next 5 games are pretty darn easy. They have a cush schedule over the next month and a half. And then with watching them play as they did over this weekend where they frickin' dog walked the garbage to your Bears, I am feeling pretty darn good about the Packers right now. So I'm picking them to last for a little while here. Go Pack, go.
Go Pack, go, I guess.
What are the games that... Who are they playing?
Yeah, I'm pulling up like my prediction spreadsheet right now to check it.
Okay, they got the Falcons, Saints, Lions, Raiders, Broncos, Vikings, Rams coming up. Yeah, if they play like they were doing week 1, like that Lions game will be pretty tough, but...
And I predicted them winning against the Falcons, and that's it.
That was also before you watched Jordan Love play, so...
It was, but also the Saints, I think, are a much better team, so
I don't know.
We'll see if they get out of that one.
Beat the Titans by 1.
Yeah, the Lions just beat the Chiefs, man.
Fair point.
All right, well, that will do it for this episode. Here's to kicking off season 2, boys. Welcome.
Cheers.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
And even though we changed a lot of our segments, there will be one that will always remain the same. We got to exit on a hot take. Jonathan, take us out.
The Texans are going to win the AFC South Division.
No shot. Good night, y'all.
You guys are hot.